Heavy topics today. Heavy topics today. Let's start with this one that you wanted us to have last time. Anyways, gay handshake. It's pen and pen, boy! Okay, bring it back down. Deep chats today.
Yeah, deep chats.
I want to give a shout out, man. I don't really watch. I never really used to listen to Robert Marawa.
Yeah.
But I know he's an icon in terms of sports, and especially, I think on Metro
And talk radio,
Yeah. He's an icon. He's a god to me, at least. And at some point, I think I wanted to be him, but for a specific topic. I don't know if the topic was going to be money or social or politics. I wanted to be the guy who's not in the game, but who's such a great analyst and commentator of the game. And
Got you.
Umarao, I've never seen him play football, but I'd like to think he's more valuable than every football or almost every football player we've had in this country.
Okay.
He would go on to be replaced by Andile Ncube in terms of sports. And Andile is co-anchored by Faith Mangope. I don't listen to them, so I'm not really sure how the show goes, and I apologize.
Sure.
But they have these clips
You must listen to them.
Well, if I have time, unfortunately we can't consume everything. I wish.
Are you so busy?
It's time. We've got 8 hours a day.
Okay.
That's all. Not 24. I know people lie. We sleep for 8. Another 8 hours of being in the toilet, eating, scratching your bums. 8 hours of productivity. And if you have to work and have to consume content and read comments and try and be a parent and try and be a brother and a son but we try where we can.
Yeah.
So this is thanks to TikTok, where I'd see Andile Ncube and Faith Mangope going through these relationship type of
chats,
which are really dope, and I've really enjoyed them. I even started following that channel, which does mostly sports, but specifically for those little clips.
Yeah.
We've referenced some of them, and for the purposes of today, there's going to be a few that we're going to reference. So I just want to say to put Andile Ncube and to Sis Faith Mangope, thank you so much for those chats, man.
Yeah.
The one that you wanted to speak about last week was how much of your past should you share in a relationship or in a new relationship.
Yeah.
Especially because we've raised things like body counts and those things before. I don't know if you want to answer me or if you want to talk to your camera.
Yeah, no, I'll chat to you. I'll chat to the camera. I'll even chat
There's
to
your camera there. That's
camera?
our wide.
This one.
That's your camera. That's mine there.
I'm a camera with 3-5 bigger mean.
Okay.
So the unpacking the past is something that we've spoken about ad nauseum. Just between me and you, I've made videos as well on my channel. I've spoken to so many people around that. So when you sent me that clip with Andile and Sis Faith, like they were sharing things that I wholeheartedly agree with.
Both of them?
Yeah.
I normally don't agree with Faith.
No, but I'm saying in that clip that you sent, talking about how much you should disclose and how much you should share in a relationship.
Sure.
And I know that even on other podcasts, we've debated with different people where some people might see a certain part of it and some people fully disagree or whatever the case may be.
You don't have to speak fast. Relax. If we just speak about this, it's chill.
I'm not speaking fast.
Okay. Carry on, Buster. Twister.
Isn't a good auction. Eh? Sold to the guy at the back there. See ya. So how I've tried now to break it down has changed. Before I used to try, when I explain Umuntu's past, I try and explain it in sense of purchasing a car. Whether the woman is purchasing the car, which is Upensini. Thank you for these tops. Penuel Zim.
That's what's up.
Gang. Or it is me as Umchita purchasing the car, which is Usis. It has to be a willing buyer, willing seller type of approach. But in order for me to be a willing buyer or willing seller, I need to know fully, or else I'm being manipulated by the sales guy, whatever the case may be. And I think Uguti, where Ufeit was touching on it, or where Andile was touching on it, was around Uguti, disclose and then let me make the decision to be with you or not.
Sure.
If I'm purchasing a car and the salesman is saying, look, it's been in 2 accidents, it's had 5 owners, it's on 500,000 mileage, are you still willing to purchase it? For the right price, I'll say yes. And I think in today's market, this again goes both sides, where people want you to buy the car, which is Penson, but is not going to say, I've got 3 kids, which is a big thing, or I won't say, I'm in a relationship and I stay with my partner, And I will then go into the sales, whatever, negotiations, withholding or omitting certain sensitive things. And understanding when you break that down, some things might to you be a little anthill, but to the other person might be Mount Everest, you know. So where Ufait was saying, and Andile was asking me, how much should you disclose? She was saying, go for it, you know, go as much as you can. So that's how I used to explain the whole past thing. I think I've changed it now, and I've tried to move away from using the car analogy, because I think sometimes people take it personally. Yeah, you think you're buying a car, and I've
high mileage.
So
the mileage.
So-
21, but mileage.
yeah, it's crazy, you know. And even in mileage, funny mileage, you know, having a body count of 5, but they were all one night stands at the back of a club in a toilet somewhere. Versus I've dated 5 guys. So we need to unpack. When you say this car's had 10 owners, you know, or this car was utilized. Let's say this car is a year old, ne? That's how you sell it. Fine if the car is a year old and it had 1 driver versus a car that's a year old but was in driving school. You need to really make this person, especially in a relationship, because my understanding of a relationship that we're trying to build and we're trying to go somewhere long term.
Sure.
Or we can just do a smash and grab, have a situationship.
That's an
mess
Uber.
around with an Uber.
Like we Uber.
Yeah, ngono sivuma ukuthi sisi bhuti asibe ma Uber and then let's just keep it moving. But the moment you say something like relationship, to me, it's already, the foundation is in the long term of it. Sorry, I'm talking so much.
No,
This is how I'm trying to approach it.
I want you to vent on why this topic was so big to you, because we had a lot of topics and that was the one that stood out for you.
Yeah, it's something that I find I get emotional, because I see people being shortchanged. I see people being sold a lemon.
People lie. Everyone lies.
Everyone lies.
Yeah.
Everyone lies.
Mostly
So
women.
Let's just stick on everyone lies.
Sure.
Ne? So I've tried to pivot and change and just speak about within your family. The history of your family is so crucial. Some people be like, I don't care to know who my dad is. I don't care to know those type of things. And then all of a sudden, there's a genetic strand of something, you know, corner is safe for in your home, but you didn't know about that. Something that could have easily been solved.
Yeah.
You know, you just go to the doctor, they just remove this, you fine. But because you didn't take the time, or you're very negligent, or you just, I don't care to, those things affect you.
Yeah.
And a lot of us, especially in the black community, we have no sense of direction. And the reason why we have no sense of direction is because we don't know our history. We don't know where we come from. We know nothing. You know,
Sure.
you know, but you didn't bother doing the legwork and trying to find out where you come from.
Yeah.
And it's hitting me as I'm getting older and older, the understanding of why history is so important.
Yeah.
If you want to buy stock, whatever you want to buy, Amazon stock, whatever the case is, you need to study the past, you know, whether it's recent, mid, long term, you know, but you need to go as far back as you can to understand how this share has gone up, down. Okay, how's the trajectory? Actually, even though it was dipping last year, it normally does this at the beginning of the year.
Sure.
And it comes back. So you study these cycles, you know, and that's when you know this is worth the investment. Whatever the business may be, whatever the situation may be, if you look at certain communities, it's rooted in history. If I'm in an Islamic community, the anchor is my faith, which tells me about my history.
Sure.
It tells me about my prophet. It tells me about how I need to move, how my grandfather and his grandfather have moved, so I have a sense of direction. You know, even if you don't know where you're going, your history can kind of, I don't know if the cameras can see the tables here. So if I were to do an analogy, sorry, this might seem
Are you asking for wide?
Yeah.
Because this goes into the edit, which you must go wide on this shot.
Okay, so
Sure.
if I'm
Are you
Penson,
hearing what I'm saying?
yeah.
So you'll just say, Sia, when you edit, please
Okay.
just hit a wide. I'm making
So-
an example
so-
so that he'll know
So
when he's editing.
sorry, without just disturbing too much. If this is Penson and I need to find my direction of success, I have no idea where it is. No idea. I don't know if I'm going there. Let's say I'm trying to find where Durban is. Standing as Penson alone, isolated, I don't know where I'm going. But the moment I start studying, let's say my father, where he was, and then I start studying his father and his father, it kind of gives me a sense of direction in where I'm moving. And then I can start planning accordingly, you know. But if I neglect this, I have no bearings. And I find a lot of us black people, we have no bearings. We don't know where we're going. So you speak about it a lot, Guti. Study your parents and their shortcomings, because that's your genetic. That's who, it's a huge part of who you are.
Yeah.
And it's the same with your partner. You know, maybe uma wakwa is febe, no gogo wakwa is febe.
Such deep words with mama, bro.
It's
Take it
in you.
easy. Take it easy.
Yeah, but, so once you know those things and you've disclosed those things, you start realizing, oh, you didn't grow up with a father or a father figure. So your only knowledge of as a male figure is Urij from Bold and the Beautiful. Oh, okay, I understand. So you're actually really bad with money. Because some people might not disclose between equate. Now you guys
That
in a
is
relationship.
true. And that's a big one when people are getting married,
You
to be open about their financial status.
I'm saying, if you can tell me from jump, hey, I owe 15,000 Rand at this bank, you know, and I go, okay, no sharp. And then I bank it. And then I'm like, hey, we're getting serious. Can we revisit that? Are you still paying? No, I don't pay it. Sis, maybe let's go and check it. Now it's sitting there, now it's 21,000. Hey, is it okay maybe if we go to the bank and sort some sort of, so that we can start paying it off? But if you keep quiet on that, and we're dating for 8 years, got 15,000 that you kept quiet on. By the time it comes out, and a lot of these things have a funny way of coming out. By the time we figure out, Connie loan, I get home the one day and they're repossessing the car that we got in community of property. Where's the car? So I know Lusisi owes 130,000. Yeah? Because 10 years ago when she owed 15, she didn't disclose.
Yeah.
You know, you have many men, you have many women who have kids. They take the kids, send the child to Ukok. Now they're in Joburg, they're free. After a while, all of a sudden, things are coming out. In Ghana now, you come home, there's a child in the lounge. What's happening? No,
I'm looking for my daddy. Penson.
And again, to so many men, I know so many guys that don't think anything of it. I know so many sisters that don't think anything of it. I know so many sisters who have slept with one friend, and then all of a sudden, when they go to that, no man, we're just chatting with other. And all of us, hi, this is my girlfriend.
But she slept with a friend.
A close friend.
Of hers.
A close friend of yours.
Oh, a close friend of
but,
yours. Okay.
But that wasn't disclosed in the body. Because again, body count is not body count. We can just say, no, how cringe, she slept with 5 people. But if all 5 of those people are your best friend and your brother and what, it changes the whole the dynamic, right? So you'd rather a sister who might have had a body count of 10, but they're in Kenya, versus a body count of 5, but everyone in your immediate circle. And now you want to, let me not tell people about my relationship. Keep your relationship secret so that the haters don't infiltrate. By the time you guys are 6 months in and you're ready now to tell people you are Joel and Usbanbani, and you bring Usbanbani, your friends couldn't even, you didn't even allow your friends the chance to say, hey, Mfethu, don't do this. Hey, Mfethu, hey, Losis, hey, Losis, I was actually with her last month. Losis, you don't know those dynamics.
Damn.
The more you know, the more knowledge you have about any topic or any subject, the better decisions you can make. And for me, the one who's making the decision, you don't dictate what I will deem as important. You don't tell me, let me not tell him this or this or this or this, because it's not important to you. But it might be so important to me. The fact that I've been arrested because there's a girl that opened a case for sexual harassment. And I don't disclose that to a Sisi who might have trauma because something like that has happened to her. And I don't disclose that, so we can't really talk it through in the infancy of the relationship. And it only comes out, boom, one day she's on Twitter and she sees Gutaibu. Can't you've been arrested twice for this? My mom sent me this. I didn't think it was that important. It happened 5 years ago. You weren't even in the picture. Those things keep coming up. And that's what's so important to me.
Let's switch it up, because the woman one is easy. It's convenient.
Sure.
There's going to be guys that are going to watch this, listen. Obviously, there's going to be women who are maybe hopefully going to pass this to guys to watch and listen. Men lie.
Facts.
And you're asking about not just body count, but a person's history.
Yeah.
Number one, you've emphasized the importance of doing your own due diligence on your own family.
Yeah.
To know yourself.
Yeah.
Never mind for telling the world. Understand how you came about into the world. Was your mom dating? Was she a side chick? Was she a home wrecker? Were they happily married? Were they happily jollering and then they broke up? What is your mom's dating pattern? If you can find it, that's normally difficult.
That's
a lot of moms have skeletons.
Yeah. And
find out your dad's dating
lie.
patterns. They also lie. Your dad lies as well, or not lies. Your dad was a Casanova, or whatever the case may be. And you thought that was cool. But that's kind of where you come from. So you know for yourself. Then we start dating as guys. guys are going to be watching this being like, yeah, the girl must give me her body count. And I want to know that. But guys are lying as well.
Yeah.
And how do you convince guys out there, me, Sia Mangena, who's on production today, how do you convince us to be open and honest with women we meet? And for most guys, because people need guidance, what do we disclose and when? And how do you figure that out? I meet a girl, hey, nice to meet you. You know, my mom used to be a hoe, hey. And you know, my dad used to be arrested. And you're like, hey, bro, TMI. Too much information. We're just having coffee.
Yeah.
How would you motivate guys to be honest? How do they navigate around how honest and at which point?
I've been asked a lot of questions around dating, just in the beginning of umjolo.
Yeah.
And I've said this to men and women alike. It's almost like the first couple of times you guys just need to start with the walk. At the botanical gardens, no one's paying for anything. You guys walk. And within that hour or so that you'll realize what is important to her and what's important to you as umchit. And as you have more of those, let's say you have 2 or 3 before we actually sit down and have dinner, whatever the case may be, or we smashing, whatever, you're going to start picking up Uguti. In the 3 dates or in this hour, I should actually be disclosing this. Because she'll speak, I actually really like kids. That's where you say, hey, I've actually got kids. So in that time, there's a lot of very important, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Newcastle. Oh, yeah, I know people from Newcastle.
You're saying when people meet each other, they should, number one, go for a free date.
Free.
Take a walk.
Yeah.
And then they must do a job interview.
It has to be a job interview.
This is a 19-year-old lighty.
This is a 19-year-old
in first
lighty.
year meeting a 19-year-old girl, and it's like, I was watching this podcast and they said
we just need to go.
Penson said for our first date it must be free, and we must take a walk, and it must be a job interview.
Your first 3 dates
must be a job interview.
Because here's the thing, whatever we're doing in the dating market as a black community, it clearly is not working. Our sisters are complaining with men are trash, men are this. Clear also is bed by a car. And then Amachita also, our sisters are this, our sisters are that. So whatever we're doing, this thing of going out, buying her a bottle and this and that, and Shama Vosho at these clubs, clearly that's not working in the sense of when it comes to developing a relationship. So let's do it differently then. Let's not be, as men, flexing a financial muscle that we may or may not have by buying bottles or the lights or whatever. Let's take away the sister having these weaves and heels and what. Let's take that. Let's try and move as natural as we can.
Take away the weaves.
No, but I'm just
saying. So you guys must go swimming. At a public pool.
So anyway, what I'm trying to get to is a point where you come as you are, I come as I am.
I hear what you're saying.
And we just conversate so that I can get...
No, you're not... Okay, let me go back to my question and then I want to add why what you're asking for is difficult.
Yeah.
So the question is, what would make guys be honest?
Yeah.
So one of the gems you've given us is first date or first 3 dates, make them free. Not he asked me out, he must pay. That becomes another conversation. This one's free.
Yeah.
We're going for a walk. Maybe we're going for a swim at a public pool, whatever. But we're going to a space where we are going to interview each other. That is the aim. I met a girl I like. I'm not trying to smash her. Maybe you met her at a club even. You're like, hey, I like you. Can I get your number? I'd like us to take a walk.
Yeah.
A walk, yes.
Multiple walks.
I'd like us to take a walk. Now, in that walk, the first quagmire is people don't know what to ask and what to discuss, which is why I asked job interview.
Yeah.
Number 2, what is going to motivate and inspire the man and the woman, but in this case, the man, will see myself, to be honest to this girl, because, bro, this chick is pretty. I want to sleep with her. I want to see where it goes, but I'm not going to be fully honest about my skeletons because I might not smash. This girl likes me.
Yeah.
It's clear. What's going to motivate a guy
to not lie?
To be honest, I don't have a job. I'm struggling. I'm actually not attending at varsity. I know we bumped into each other on campus, but I was there to see a mate. I'm not at varsity. I don't even have matric. What would motivate a guy to tell a girl the truth before we ask girls to tell us the truth?
Yeah. So again, let's start at the beginning. Would say a lot of the times the reason why I'm seeing relationships only last between, let's say, 3 and 6 months and they fall apart is because people are never engaging with each other. So siyajola but asjola. You stay 20 minutes away from me. Whenever we link up in a braai setting or a social setting. I'm chatting to the gents, you chatting to the girls. We never really get to engage.
Yeah.
You know, when we do, it's late at night, it's daggy, we smash, we sleep, you know, we wake up late, 11, and then we go to a market, these type of places. So we never really get to know that other person. And I'm trying to curb, if that's the right word, 6 months wastage in 1 hour quality time or in 3 hour broken down in 3 sessions quality time, where I can actually understand, Guti, what do you like? What do you not like? Let me really get to know you, because in getting to know you and doing the interview, that's where the questions will come out. That's where I'll start then asking real things. Guti, okay, but you said, Guti, you were dating Usman, but when did you go date? Oh no,
the girl is gonna ask, how many girls have you dated before me?
He must as best as he can.
Yeah.
And if, I'm not talking about smashing and grabbing here. If you want a relationship, I'm talking about a girl that you want to build with.
Sure.
I'm saying, Guti, you have to take that risk.
And tell her.
And tell her. It's the same thing that we're seeing in so many situations where Machita Sefuni's team, and they're struggling. And Usis is like, no, you're changing the game now. But it would be so different if he led with something like, Guti, look, maybe it's not something that I want to do now, but it's something that I think I'm interested in. And if the sister says no, then she says no.
It sounds like you're speaking for people that are 30, 35.
No, I'm saying, Guti,
I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying, you're telling a 20-year-old boy.
Good to the thing is that a lot of these younger guys maybe just want to smash.
Which is fair, right?
So, okay, so I'm not talking to those guys then. If that's the thing, which I saw this girl, I want to smash, I want to lie and manipulate to get what I need to get, and we Uber, I dog.
Can I say, in our teens, late teens, 18, 19, in our early 20s, 20 to 25, people are trying to smash, people are trying to have a good time. By the time you look up, you're almost 30, male, female. You've gotten so used to lying. Yeah. And now you're saying I must completely flip the script and be honest. And I'm trying to figure out what is the incentive.
I'm not saying you must. I'm saying if you want to build something of concrete. Because we've all done that, sleep around, and then we shocked.
Not me.
And then we shocked why we're struggling in our late 20s, 30s to get a relationship. So it's like you're telling me that from when you were 18, you're just eating the most unhealthy food ever. Most unhealthy food. And then when you get to 28, you don't want to stop eating unhealthy food of lies, but then you want the great body magically. Something has to give.
So most guys lie. They want a good girl, but they want to carry on with their filthy lives.
So what happens in that case, ne? Because she was also having this horrible diet as well, right? Because men lie, women lie. So he's now going to present the best version of himself to her publicly. Meanwhile, he's doing all this trashy, unhealthy thing. She's going to do the same. 3 to 6 months later, shit is going to come out, as what it always does. She's going to go onto Twitter and say men are trash, men are rubbish. Okay. He's going to go on X and say, yeah, women are wrong. They also blah, 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 blah. And then the cycle rinse, repeat. We have to get to that point. It's like saying, Guti, as a community, we make bad financial decisions. Okay, sharp. I've made bad financial decisions from when I was 20 till 30. Me continuing to make bad financial decisions, whether I go to church or not, doesn't change my bank account. So I need to get to a point where I say, I need to have a hard stop in order for me to fix this, how many years of rubbish financial behavior or diet. My diet has been horrible or whatever the case is. But something needs to happen if you want to build a real relationship.
Esia, is this guy selling you or not? He's saying? Is it making you want to be honest to women?
I hear him. It's difficult.
It's difficult.
No. So here's a good example of lying and being honest. So there's body count, then there's I really like this girl. And you're like, you know what? I like women. I'm probably going to cheat on you. I love girls. I got that type of honesty. Gents are not going to do it.
That's fine.
Gents are also not going to tell the girl while they're taking a walk. You know, there's other girls I'm chatting to. I still every now and then holler at my ex. They're not going to be honest.
I was speaking
but
to a
they
mate
do
of mine.
wish for something serious.
I was speaking to a mate of mine about having kids. And he was talking about, he can't have kids right now. He's going to do this, blah, 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 whatever and I was like, hey, bro, that's such like an average man's excuses. And I was like, it's like, what do you mean? I was like, poor people have kids all the time. And they're not using money as an excuse. And like Nabo, Elon Musk, they've got like 11 kids or whatever. You know, no ban having. It's like, yeah, but those guys are rich. I was like, okay, so why aren't you using the same justification? You keep moving. No, I just want my kids to have a normal. It's okay then. If you want to have normal relationships, if you want to have a normal body, if you want to have a normal bank account, look for those people that lie just enough, move just enough, and maybe you'll be those. Tina, I'm talking to people who want to be some level of outliers within the current dating market. So if you want to say, I am done with this.
This is an advice for people that want to be bodybuilders, is what you're saying.
No. So the average gym person is not a bodybuilder. The dating market is fat obeseness. It's unhealthy. How's the streets, yeah?
They're cold.
They dirty, bro. Yeah. It's incredibly unhealthy. It's not normal. It's incredibly unhealthy. And I'm just saying, Wuti, I'm trying to get you a point where...
You're talking about self-work.
Everything is self-work. The problem is we understand that in order to drive that 2 million rand car, we have to put in so much work. We understand that in order to get a 6-pack, whatever the case is, you need to put so much work. But in relationships, you want to almost lie and finesse to get the Ferrari type of relationship or to get the 6-pack type of relationship. But you can't lie and finesse in other areas of your life. You can't, dog.
The difference between me and you is you want people to be honest.
Yeah.
And I've done enough research to work on probabilities.
Yeah.
Because my fear with you and people that think like you is you set yourself up for pain.
Okay.
Because you're like, I'm demanding. You're the gym instructor. You're the personal trainer who's like, eat this, do that. Are you doing it? The person's at the gym, so you appreciate it.
Yeah.
But the reality is the person's lying. They were eating donuts yesterday. And when you find out, because there's more at stake in a relationship, you're going to get angry. Whereas I'm like, I don't understand why you got angry.
I'm not.
You met a girl she was 30. You asked her questions. She gave you answers. I think she's putting in some self-work. She's at the gym. She drinks water at the gym. But I think she's knowing 30-year-old girls, my expectation is there's still some dirt there. There's still some bad habits. When as soon as you find out that, you know, you were eating junk at 19, you get angry because she never said that.
So,
and some people, when they decide to make a change, a part of it is I've had a bad experience being honest with guys because they weaponize what I tell them. So moving forward, I don't need to tell guys what I did at 19 because I'm working on myself. I'm at gym.
Right.
I don't need to tell you that I was fat. And then when you find out, you get pissed. Whereas I'm like, chances are at 19, she was being smashed.
So I'm not mad that people aren't driving that million rand car. If I'm the only person driving a Ferrari, it's fine, more for me. If everybody's fat and unhealthy and I'm the guy with the 6-pack, great, I'm not mad.
Yeah.
If everybody's in the streets and I have a quality relationship, great.
Sure.
I'm just giving people advice.
Sure.
So it's all Vusi Temba saying, hey, just make sure you do 1, 2, 3. If you don't do it, alright, fam. But when are you in my DMs all the time asking me these questions? And when you are in my DMs, sister or brother, I'm going to tell you, if you want to lose weight, these are the 5 things that you need to do. If you want to fix your financial whatever, these are the 5 things. You don't have to do it. You know? So, Mina, I'll use you as a perfect example because I think you're a living contradiction in certain aspects. Because you live publicly the most honest life out of all of us. You know, people know your dating past to a degree. They know your kids. They know how you dress, it's so open and honest.
Yeah.
More than most people.
Sure.
So when people approach you, whether it's men or women, whatever the case is, they already know what they're buying into.
Sure.
You know, and I'm saying, Wuti, what a breath of fresh air, knowing, Wuti, ngiyothenga le moto, and this is the cost, and this is this, and this, and this, and this, and this. I don't think there's a single sister out there that would say, hey, let me go date Penuel so that I can put him in church and he can be Iashe Sontweni. And I don't think that's that.
Yeah.
Even if you were to go and try and say that to a sister, she'd be like, no, it's the Kanye West where he says these things. He might say it about a comedian, people get, but we're like, this guy is so authentically him. And we start liking those people that become authentic. And for some weird reason, the world celebrates and they become successful. You know, yes, we're going to slash or nota or ban every now and again. But the reality is that he is more honest and open about his life than you are. Because you're still doing all these negative things that all these other people are doing. You're just hiding and lying about it.
Sure.
The world won't celebrate that. The world will celebrate the people that are authentic because those are the people that have the big balls. Those are the pioneers that are opening ports.
Sure.
So if you don't want to be a pioneer of your body or within whatever and be healthy and sacrifice maybe once a week not having takeouts, or if you can't not live without the latest iPhone, or if you want to continue smashing and grabbing all these chicks, cool, fine. But then don't come back to us and say, the streets are like this. Hey, umzimba fethu, singathi nick out. Hey, bank fethu ufuna ukuthatha imoto yami. Sharp, you know. So, but in order to have strong financials, you need to be open and honest with your accountant. If you want to have a great body, you need to be open and honest with your personal trainer. You know, your personal trainer will look at you, you're getting fatter and fatter. Go to mqambela mang. Ay mina ngidla fethu hairbags, ngidle net. Personal trainer yakubuka nje.
Lying.
It's the same in a relationship. You know, it's the same in a relationship. So that's how I view it. I might be wrong.
Thank you, Vuzi.
But
My relationship.
I agree. See, I agree. It is very, very tough. But I think once you live a life that to you is as open and as honest, and you stop having to pretend, it's cool because you start realizing that it also starts repelling certain energies. The more you're about financially, I make great decisions. I'm not that guy at the club who buys bottles. You're going to start seeing with all these girls, these slay queens, that they start moving away. It's weird. Once you start being that guy who's about his health and what, you start seeing people stop inviting you, what my, you know, because then once you start living a specific life, you start attracting positivity within that space and you start repelling the negative within that space as well. So, I've seen that. The more honest I've been, it's weird because I've attracted that more and more.
Next topic.
We're happy, and I am.
I don't think it's for me to be happy.
Oh.
It's just a conversation for people to think about.
Okay.
Especially the first thing being the distinction between knowing what it is you want. Are you just looking for a good time?
Yeah.
Or are you looking for something real?
Yeah.
And if you're looking for something real, there's a way to go about it.
And a lot of work.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
And part of it is being honest.
Yeah.
I enjoy eating rubbish. I'm now at a point where I want to work on my body.
Yeah.
So I need to be honest. Never mind the personal trainer. Never mind the fact that I swipe for Discovery Vitality at the gym. I'm lying to myself that I'm actually eating junk.
Yeah.
So let me be honest with myself, and then let me find the type of personal trainer who can deal with my honesty and who's not going to shout at me when I tell them, look, I had burgers over the weekend. It's bad.
Yeah.
But I'm letting you know so that we can put in the work. So in that regard, I hear what you're saying, even though I disagree with the approach.
Okay.
I prefer more probabilities because I work on worst case scenarios.
Yeah.
They give me peace, and they help me not get too upset when I find out things that I wasn't told.
Sure.
Where must men get money? Because women expect men to have more money. Number 2, should women
Akunamali mina angazi ithathe imali angazi baba nifertility angazi.
link to that one.
Yeah.
Should women who out-earn their partners
Yeah.
shoulder more of the responsibilities in the home?
Yeah.
Should those women be the ones that pay Lobola for the man? We've got a law now that is going to be tested at the Constitutional Court where men can now take the woman's surname. So people are like, but, and it's like, well, I married a Mandela or a Mutsipe.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just a whoever.
I'd like to take.
She makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
Marrying into this lady's family means when I travel the world, they're going to look at my surname and be like, ooh, Mandela. And you're like, yeah. Getting into the family, I get into businesses. I know they have a great culture of we all help each other out. Welcome to the family. All the men, they're like, hey, welcome. You're now going to be one of us. The circle of trust, Robert De Niro in Meet the Fockers.
Yeah.
You're now in the circle.
Yeah.
We're going to, so the girl is going to go to your home as a
Yeah.
Penson,
A proposal.
So you've got this situation where when 2024, women empowerment, feminism, bring a girl child to work, let's uplift our women in Bogoto. Women are earning well. They're doing well. Those women still expecting daughter to pay for the drinks.
Yeah.
She's still expecting daughter to give her girlfriend allowance.
Yeah.
She expects him to pay Lobolo.
Yeah.
She expects him to buy the house, to be the provider. They still have this expectation.
Yeah.
So the question is, where must men get money? Because women expect men to have more money.
Yeah.
Now you spoke in class. We were
Yeah.
both
Single mother.
you were both eating noodles
living
and
next door.
varsity.
Yeah.
You're both graduates and
Yeah.
interning.
Yes.
She's like, but you must lobola me, you must pay for the meals.
Yeah. Buy me a.
Where
diamond
must
ring.
men get the money, number one? And number 2, should women who earn more shoulder more responsibility? Pay for the house, buy the cars. And then as a little ad there, should she be the one ayocela kini? Sanibona besazocela umfana.
I was having a chat last night. You know those stats that people normally drop, Uguti, there's more men or there's more women than men or whatever the case is. Have you heard those, Guti? Like in South Africa, there's more women than there are men.
That are unemployed?
No, just generally. Have you ever heard those stats?
Oh, snap. Are you about to dispel what I already know?
No, but people don't know. So
Please tell them.
So I go on Google.
It's an easy Google search.
It's an easy Google search.
The demographics of men versus women in South Africa and the numbers.
It's literally like 51-49. Like it's that
ridiculous.
Close. Like it's so
It's
close.
so ridiculous.
So I was helping them to get to where their point was.
Yeah.
Ne? So ideally I was like, look, Salingan, there's
50-50.
50-50.
In this, there's 29 million men and maybe like 30 million women.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So it's so close.
It's marginal.
But like I was like, okay, let me help you. There's a big hall with 100 women and 100 men. Ne? Now let's look at just employment to unemployment numbers in this country.
Sure.
Let's just say it's 50% across the board.
Sure.
So that means there's 50 women that can work and there's a 50 men out of the 100 that work.
Yeah.
The problem with society is that the woman, these women, all 100 of them, they don't want to date a guy who doesn't work.
Or who earns less than them.
Let's just talk about unemployment.
Okay. Who doesn't work?
Who doesn't work. So that means 100 women are looking at 50 men.
Men. Yeah.
So that all of a sudden the ratio becomes 2-1.
That's when it changes.
That's when it changes.
Yeah.
Ne? But the reality is, it's not that all women want an employed man. They want a certain cut. So they want the top 20%
Yes.
of this year.
Yes.
Right? So then the ratio goes and becomes like a 3-1.
20 to 100.
20
men to 100 women.
That's what then happens.
Yeah.
And then it creates this mindset along even sisters who are broke because they constantly looking at Vusi no banbani saying ukuthi, I want men that earn. And it's such a small slither of the population. And I think that's what messes it up. Therefore, you start having guys that aren't saying, where can I make money in terms of just a salary of 10K, 12K. They thinking, where can I make money? 100K, 200K type of mindset.
Yeah.
And that's where it becomes challenging.
Just to add before you carry on, you haven't added gay men.
I haven't added.
You haven't added men in jail, etc. So it gets bad.
It gets bad.
So when they say there's a shortage of men, what they actually mean, because we're 50-50.
Yeah.
There's a shortage of good-looking, well-educated, well-earning, straight men who are available for women. Or who are also not married.
Please, can you hook me up with one of your friends? This lady is about 33. Please, can you hook me up with one of your friends? I'm like, oh, okay. Since she's earning well, she's earning about 40K. A month.
It's good money.
That's good money. So she's
earning
great
well. Money, actually.
So I'm like, okay, so what are you looking for? She's like, oh, I like them tall, some a little bit taller than you. I'm like what do you making it sound like I'm short? I'm not a short guy.
Yeah.
Like in any space.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how many men are just taller than me? Fine. Okay, how old must he be? Between 30 and 40. I mean, 35 and 40. Don't go over 40. I'm like, okay. I'm not married.
Taller than you is only Usbongsen.
I'm like, bro.
Sorry, please keep going.
I'm like, bro. Here's a stat for people. 3% of American men are 6 foot and above.
That's 2 meters.
That's 2 meters. Well, no, just below.
1.8, 1.9.
1.8 there. So when you watch
only 3%.
So when you watch
of American men.
So when you watch these movies and how all these American guys are so tall, so what, it's like goes back to when we were kids and we used to watch like hip hop videos and you thought that all the girls in America were like long hair, big booty, what, because that was just the narrative that was shown to us. Anyway, I'm like, you do know like the average height in South Africa is like what, 169 for black men?
Jeez.
I'm like, that's I'm way above average in comparison to South African. Okay, what's the percentage of men that are 6 foot?
Yeah.
That are between the ages of 35 and 40?
Sure.
That, as you're saying, unmarried, single, no kids.
He must be between 35 and 40. He must be single. He must have no kids. Hopefully earn 40,000 or more. And he must want you.
Oh. I'm like, you probably...
And he must want you.
I was like, there's probably
I got food. We found him. Got I got food. Like, you says who's kokwana. 25.
What's the stats of men that earn 45? What percent are you on? Top 5%?
Of what?
If you're earning 45 and above?
You wish. 1.
You 1%?
Yes. No, the top 1% in South Africa has an after tax of 49,000. That's men and women.
That's the top 1%.
Yeah, and mind you.
Yeah.
What we know is that 1% is largely Ngamlas.
Yes.
And some Indians.
So
it's flames.
What's the population of Joburg? Isn't it like 6 million or whatever? I don't know, 10 million?
No, it's high. I think it's like 12.
Okay, so now what's 1% of 12?
What is 1% of 12?
What's 10%?
1.2 million.
1.2 million. So it's 120.
Oh, okay.
So that's 1%. And now we have to remove women from that.
You said in Johannesburg?
Yeah.
I was thinking of Gauteng, sorry.
No, let's say
4.8 million apparently.
So that's 5 million.
No, man. 6 point something.
That's 6 million.
Hey, I don't know.
I said 6 million.
I said 6 million.
I said 6 million. Which now 1% is 60,000. Half are females, so it's female. So 30,000
of gents.
Of gents.
That earn above 50,000.
Yeah, they earn 50,000.
How many gents? 30,000.
30,000
Men.
men.
Okay.
Sakhona mandiya, sakhona
White. Start with
belungu.
white. The majority is white.
I don't even know how I could calculate that.
And then it's Indian.
Indians.
And then
it's
black.
Then it's black.
And of the black, what are their ages? Are they married?
To just earn, I would assume that once you're earning, you are of a certain age. I would assume that.
Sure.
You know. So
by the way, a big chunk of the men you'll find there, the black men, are probably working in government. By the way. And then there's some that work in corporate.
How many of
very
them?
few athletes, very few.
How many of them are
etc.
between the ages of 35 and 40?
Sure.
We are down to like 100. Sure.
Because some of them are in their 50s, 60s, earning the good salary.
And now he must be single.
And want you.
Imagine sisters who are listening to this. How sisters know how to smell a good guy from afar. Ne? They to find a 40-year-old, single, no kids, 50,000 rand, 6 foot, good-looking guy.
That wants you.
That wouldn't you also just be like, that's a red flag?
Is this the gap for polygamy?
That it's 100% the gap for polygamy.
But is that fine? You know, I've heard this argument that monogamy was engineered because ugly, broke guys weren't getting women.
They were mad.
So it was like, hey, look, every gent needs a woman. So
did you
we're gonna push monogamy because what's gonna end up happening is Darwinism.
Yeah.
The richest, most good-looking guys are gonna get all the women, and then the ugly guys are gonna die. Die out.
But those are the Twitter stats. Uguti, only 5% of all men on Twitter gets liked or whatever the case is.
Really?
Those are the stats.
Get likes.
Whatever we swipe whatever.
Or Tinder.
On Tinder.
You said Twitter, sorry.
Oh, yeah, on Tinder.
Only 5% of men get a positive.
On the platform yonke.
You don't know what it is compared to women?
I don't know what it is compared to women.
Okay.
I think women just
No, I don't know.
A swiper, whatever. Anyway, it goes back when you talk about Darwinism to that stats. I think you had said it like years ago. An X amount of men have populated the world. I think you gave a percentage.
I don't think it was me, but I know it's been discussed on platforms
But
before.
something crazy, like only 10% of all the men
Someone
who've
said
ever
this recently.
lived on the planet have populated everyone. And you start realizing what yes. That's crazy though. That's crazy. Because if you think about all the chains that are here right now at AMP, and we like, how many of them?
Sorry. Even in the whole world, 50.2% of the world's population is male. Just for people to know, they can go look this up.
Okay.
50.2%.
So let me go back.
So we're literally the same amount, but the difference comes in maybe money and being desirable.
Let me go back to your initial question. So when you say, where do gents make money? There's obviously a lot of places where you say you can work at a retail store, Daisy Mpahla, whatever the case may be. The problem is, to many people in society, that's not making money. So because they want to be top 1%. But we can't all be in the top 1%. Then it wouldn't be the top 1%.
Sure.
So when you're asking questions, Machita, like where do we make money? It's a very, very loaded question. Because you can go apply your Sebenze Edgars. You can go apply your Spani KFC. The problem is that you're not looking at those salaries. You're looking at something else.
Sure.
Therefore, you'd say, as in humble upgrade to metric wako, hambi apply to NASFASI, hambi evava, uzamu kuthola lelo paper degree, shay honors yako, and then start that journey. That would be the quickest and the shortest way. Because then the show like flour, sugar, shy queen, tatmali queen, fuck forex, keep my forex, thank you. So imagine like they thinking like that. But I think the shortest way to get it above 30,000 rand a month, if I were to just think about it now, if I'm a 23-year-old young man, upgrade my matric.
Yeah, go back to school.
The
easiest way to get a better income, the easiest way for everyone is to go back to school.
And I think it's the shortest way.
Whether it's high school or varsity.
I think it's also
go
the shortest.
Back. It's the shortest, it's the quickest, it's the easiest. It's not easy. Trust.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to earn 30,000 a month.
If you look at the number of accountants, doctors, engineers, just lawyers, the number of them compared to I'm a rappers or hip hop, what that make over 30,000 rand a month as an example.
Sure.
It's huge.
It's not huge. It's no comparison.
Like there's 10 rappers in the whole of South Africa that make more than 50k a month. Like
sure.
I'd be shocked if it was more than that. Like it's Ngababala.
Sure.
Whereas, how many lawyers, doctors, engineers
Accountants.
that actually make over 50K?
Even with your marketing diploma,
yeah,
go back to school, upgrade your maths, go study one of
upgrade.
these high
Uthole
demand.
degree, uthole honours,
Or study IT, by the way, especially coding, especially AWS, Amazon Web Services. They're hiring, and it's a global, even Java coding.
I think
Those are ways to earn, by the way.
brand is it brand management? I think the biggest thing that when I talk to a lot of these guys, I say you need to study your brand.
Sure.
Because a lot of these guys, I've seen it in spaces where guys with masters and honors, they don't know how to sell their brand, and therefore they get given the short stick. And guys are like, I'm like, you, how much are you earning? 30,000. You've got like a master's and 10 years experience. How are you earning 30,000? And you realize, oh, okay, you don't know how to package your brand. So it's almost like manga shalo 3-month course nyana to understand which you're a brand, you package the brand and you sell the brand. You know, what's the difference between buying a top quality t-shirt from a local designer for 2,000 Rand buying versus an international one for 20,000 Rand? It's just about packaging and how you sell the brand.
I just want to ask, like,
You don't have a mic?
no,
Okay. I'll try and repeat your question.
I just want to ask, like, don't you think that those people, those guys that you guys are telling to go back to school only have a 5-year period? Because now, I think we're going into a time where knowledge won't be a commodity anymore.
Knowledge has always been a
you're let me so what you're asking is the guys we're advising to go back to school. Going back to school, whatever they're gonna study is gonna expire, is what you're asking. So is it not outdated advice that we're giving?
I'm not saying that now.
But that's your question. Which is that advice not outdated and they should be
I don't
investing
think it
somewhere
has
else?
longevity.
What would you think has longevity? What should they be investing in your opinion? If you're right.
I mean, more techie stuff.
Okay.
The AI stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
Because I think when that knowledge dies out, I mean, a lot of people are gonna die out.
Yeah.
Because now the biggest commodity is that degree, and we don't really care about it
Sure.
when we get there. So.
So let me just chat about the knowledge. So I hear where you're going with
sorry,
this.
before you answer, if I go off camera, you won't see me. Wait,
Okay.
look at the screen. Can you see me here?
See that hand.
You can't see that at all. Okay, please answer.
Okay. So with knowledge, I agree with you and I disagree with you. So having knowledge and doing nothing with it is pointless. It's like knowing how to read but never reading, or knowing how to swim but never swimming. It's pointless. What we want is that we want to applied knowledge, you know. So I've got the knowledge of the recipe book and I want to take the recipe and then cook, you know. So I think a lot of the times people have the knowledge, whether it's their diploma, whether it's their matric, whatever, they just don't know how to apply it, which is the wisdom part. So you've got your degree in accounting. Do you know how to apply it? Some people go and they study a BA in anthropology. He doesn't know what to do. He's jobless because he doesn't know how to apply and plug it into the real world. And that's when it becomes null and void, you know. So if you have a psychology degree, I know some people have psychology, they just don't know how to utilize it. But if you're to start finding ways to plug in and apply your piece of paper, I think that's where the money comes in. And then as things change, now you must also be flexible and be able to pivot, you know. So you've got a psychology degree, AI is coming in, you know, cyberbullying. Okay, how can I utilize that in order to run courses around cyberbullying in that world with my psychology background? And as that morphs and changes, you change accordingly. Oh, I've got a law degree, I don't know what to do. Well, there's a lot of things that are happening in terms of intellectual property or whatever the case is on that online space. Let me see if I can take my law degree and apply it in this market. So they must also be able to take the knowledge and apply it. And if they don't do
Let
that,
me try
then,
answer. Awusishaye lapho makuseye khona. Ungishaye nami lapho.
mina ngikhona ekamera-
See, this is for you, but it's also for young people because it's a brilliant question, bro. One piece of advice I read years ago was the future belongs to people who have the ability to unlearn and relearn. Because as Penson said in his closing, life is about pivoting. And if you cannot pivot, you will struggle. I've got friends who are chartered accountants who have struggled with jobs. I've got friends who are medical doctors who at some point struggled with jobs. So when we said these are the easiest, we were just ranking. These are the easiest ways to earn a good income. But for the future, whether it's 5, 10, 20 years, you must always be willing to adapt. If you're not willing to adapt and you're stubborn, unfortunately, you're going to be like Nokia, or you're going to be like, I think it's called RIM, the guys who are doing BlackBerry, and you're going to become obsolete. And Kodak
Yes.
is the classic
You know.
example. So
You're a guest speaker, you're what's it called? A speaker. Or you're on Fundis and you're seeing that people aren't coming to your church, whatever. Call podcast, boy.
sure.
If you're a
or
rapper,
preach online.
Or
as an
preach
example.
online. We are rap, we are Hlulega, but you've got an audience. Talk to them. start schools? How can you rap? How can you find ways to pivot based on the knowledge base that you have and apply it? Abantu abaningi just don't want to apply in knowledge.
Let me add this to what you were saying. 10 minutes. Let me add this to what you were saying. If you can, go and study those high demand professions. But also on the side, be upskilling yourself in tech where you can. Be a lawyer that also has a podcast, even if it only has 200 views. Be a lawyer that's also studying international IT law. Be a lawyer that's understanding how AI plugs into the legal work, so that maybe some of your clients think they're speaking to you, but they're speaking to a machine because you're pivoting. I saw a small clip on TikTok today. I haven't watched the episode, Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett. And it was the Google CEO and ex-Google CEO saying, businesses that are not looking to add AI in every single aspect of their business are going to get crushed. So I think a similar thing applies to us. If we're only podcasting ourselves and we're not thinking, let me podcast and then for the last 10 minutes see if I can get AI to start podcasting on my behalf. Or let me do audio where it's not me, I'm just feeding a script and it sounds like me, and we're not learning slowly that and getting it AI generated. The guys who are going to do it are going to have better podcasts than us in future, and we're going to get left behind because we're stubborn. So I think I'm going to say that. In the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, let me just jump on to the next part.
Before the next part, I wanted you to just, so where must men get money? We gave some advice. This is for men and women, by the way, if you're looking to make more money. There are limited jobs, unfortunately. But if you're trying to get into that
Guys,
thing,
just personally, I've pivoted. I was in education for a decade. And I moved there and I'm in digital advertising.
Sure.
You know, so people are like, hey, bro, what's the link between teaching grade 6 maths and now where you're at? You know, but you are able to learn and adjust, you know. So
one more question.
go for it, Sia.
Penn just said now there are limited jobs, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that South Africans are too fixated with passion rather than, because in other countries, I'm sure maybe in China, no one really wants to build cars.
Dog, but no one really wants to work at some of
Let
these
me
retail
repeat the
places.
question. So Sia's asking, if there are limited jobs, which I believe, if there are limited jobs in South Africa, what was the question?
Like, aren't we all trying to
Chase passion.
chase the same jobs?
Should we
agriculture or something? 'Cause
within
we're
South Africa?
Yeah, because I don't believe that there's limited amount of jobs. I just feel like we're all flooded in one.
Oh, okay. So if there are limited jobs in South Africa, should we not be looking into other industries that are not as saturated? I think is the question. You want to hit, Masahit?
Yeah, no, I was just saying, Uti, like in terms of, we'll see, I was talking about pushy passion. I don't think most people who are employed are actually doing the job or the employment where they are passionate in. You know, you see, I remember in high school, we have teachers that used to hate teaching, you know, and you're working with kids and I could see in which you just hate being here. You know, we've been to government hospitals where you look at some of our nurses and you're like, yo, sister, I'll phone. And I've seen it at fast food restaurants. I've seen it in retail. So I don't think a lot of people are pushing passion. I think they want to, they yearn to. And it's only the very, very privileged few that get to chase a career and their passion and their love.
To answer you, Sia, you're very right, bro. People must look into alternative industries. It's a difficult one because this is a podcast all on its own. The job market, where people should be looking outside of South African industries, some of the opportunities are overseas. So people should be looking there. Where are the spaces that are not flooded with everyone where you can make a decent amount of money? And how can we get more people in those spaces, working behind the scenes? Even in healthcare, do we all want to be doctors? Or is there something else? Maybe delivering medicine, working in research facilities, etc. So chasing a passion, for me, is something that you must do as a hobby for as long as you can. And you only jump out of school or your job when that passion starts making so much money that it forces you to now give it more attention. It's like Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates quitting at Harvard. They didn't quit because they were like, I want to be an entrepreneur. They quit because their businesses demanded them to go push. So do music, be a school teacher, be a nurse, do music, have gigs on the weekend. Once you've got like song of the year or you've been booked fucked up, you're now making 50,000 a month. You're like, okay, let me take like a 1 year off teaching and give this thing a full flex. Maybe I'll carry on forever, or maybe at some point I'll fall off and then I'll come back to what it is. I think is the best advice.
Can I just hit quickly about the sisters?
Where must men get money? Very important, because women expect... I want to say this before you speak about the women that earn more. We need to have a conversation, men and women. And we need to be very honest and we need to look at the stats and the data. and say, this is the situation. That scenario created of 100 men, 100 women. These are the men that work. These are the men that earn this. We need to have an honest conversation with women and say, now that we see this, what do you guys think? Give us the solutions. Are you willing to, as a woman, date below? Are you willing to share a man? Should we be saying, look, I'm a gent, I earn 100,000. I'm going to maybe not date. I'm going to hire another girl so that she earns and then she can go and date whatever. But let's have an honest conversation, because there's not enough money currently to go around for everyone. And that's why men have side chicks, other women. That's why they've got blessees, gold diggers, slave queens, etc. Because we're not being honest about what's out there, and we're causing a mess. Women that out-earn their men, should they shoulder more of the responsibility?
Look, it's a challenge, you know. From my experience, women are very much hypergamous. They want to date within their brackets or above, you know. We had this chat earlier today.
That's conditioning.
I don't know if it's conditioning.
I think it's nature.
I think it's a bit of both, eh?
Okay.
So I think even if you look at like chimpanzees or lions, I think the lioness one's the biggest, baddest lion. I think the chimpanzee female
She wouldn't go for a weaker lion than herself.
I don't think
generally.
so. Yeah, I don't think a female chimpanzee will go for a smaller lion. I don't see that happening in nature. And then how we've been obviously nurtured is the same. We spoke about it earlier, Guti, why people get into a relationship. And for me, getting into a relationship is about growth. You know, any sort of relationship, business relationship, friendship, it's about growing. It's about giving each other something. You know, same with the romantic relationship. And money being one of the main pillars of today's relationship, it's very hard for me to see sisters, and I know many who out-earn their partners, but it's hard for me to try and explain to sisters who get into a relationship, significantly out-earn the partner, and still feel like the guy's the partner. I don't know if that makes sense. You know, as in the equal or whatever the case may be. A lot of sisters that I see that out-earn, or significantly rather, out-earn their partner, they slowly start moving away when they're realizing, Uguti, this guy can't grow me. He can't grow me career-wise. He can't grow me financially. He can't grow me. So then she starts outsourcing. And not saying in the sense of cheating. Like, let's say Umchita doesn't have a car. She drives a Volvo, as an example. And she can't then say, oh, love, as my car's making a sound. For a service. Because he doesn't have the resource or the muscle to do so. If she's going stressed, let's say she's a surgeon, whatever the case is, and she needs a bit of advice and bounce it off, and if he's not strong mentally, he can't guide her, he can't manage. At work I was arguing with my line manager. Lumchita is actually just a weaker lion to the lioness that I'm at. And then they start outsourcing, whether she's got like a strong father, you know, hey dad, this is the dad comes and takes the car and services. You know, she's got a mentor. Now you start hearing a lot of sisters who are in a financial bracket talking about their mentors and all those things that stereotypically or traditionally they'd find within the relationship and find it within the leader of the home traditionally, which is the man. She's now not getting guided. So whenever I am asked that question, and I always try and tell, especially the guys, I was like, hey bro, just try and date in your lane. It's going to minimize a lot of frustrations.
This is from the man's side.
The sisters, I know they're going to get frustrated. I know, so like, unless the sister is dating a guy who's exceptionally good looking, but is financially weaker, and is exceptionally smart, but is financially weaker, as long as she's got avenues of growth within this dynamic, then she'll stay. But a lot of the times, if that's not there, so when you ask me those questions, I feel very sensitive to them. In today's market, it's almost like I could say to OCs that earn significance, before Nchol, please find a person where there's growth in. But if you're already in that situation, which is the question, you need to sit down with your partner and actually break down the different roles and responsibilities in this home. And obviously the big one being financial, you will need to spread out or allocate based on each person's financial strength.
So she should shoulder more of the responsibilities just by design.
It depends on each individual household. For my household, we've got fam funds. Ne?
Forget fam funds. So she's earning 100,000, you earn 30.
Yes.
I'm asking if she should carry more of the weight.
She has to, because she's living. Is she? Are you asking me, should she drop down to live a 30,000?
As an example, that could be one of the alternatives.
I don't see. I don't see sisters who earn 100K and their partner earning 30.
Yeah.
Realistically, I don't see sisters dropping down.
They won't, but should they?
No.
She should shoulder more of the responsibility.
I think if we are building a relationship, and I want to just emphasize on building the relationship part, I think the resources then should be pulled together. the way that I'm looking at it, I'm talking about personal experience. The way that me and my partner, we pool the funds.
Yeah.
You know, so that when things need to get bought, whatever, it's not a matter of sex swipe afford sex swipe imali yami yabona type of thing. Even you might not vocalize it, but kancane usuyabona. Angithi you said you broke. Nini manje usuthenga isikhafu esisha. But you say we broke. Whereas if it's pooled funds, it doesn't have to be a joint account, but it's just this card will pay for this card will pay for this. This person is in charge of this. If again it's a relationship where the same with whatever other responsibilities might come in the household. That's how I think it should be done.
But you wouldn't blame a woman who's like, you earn 30, I'm gonna contribute 30 to the fam funds. The other 70 is my money. Don't be involved. But we have 60,000 as a home. It's okay. Would you understand that?
I wouldn't understand that because I think we have different strengths going into a relationship.
But she wants you to still be the man. And she knows you'll never be the man if she's bringing the entire 100.
No, but we don't know that. Hence why I'm
saying...
No,
as an example. This is just very generic.
Yes. I'm saying, Wuti, my understanding of a relationship is for me to give as much as I can into that relationship and for the partner to give as much as they can or she can into the relationship. So now when we're holding back, you know, in building, like playing soccer, you're playing rugby. If I have the ball, I'm trying to do the best that I can, and I give it to the next guy who's also trying to do the best that they can, whether they fumble, knock the ball, whatever the case may be. But let's all try and give 100%.
You'd want her to bring more of her money in.
I'd want her to give all of her money in, not more.
Damn.
Because I give all. So if there's a guy, even if you flip the script, guy is machita. If you earn significantly more and you're trying to build what it is, give as much as you can. And let her also give as much as she can. If she's unemployed, it's fine. We'll split out resources accordingly. And we need to see what we can do to pull together in order to build.
Yeah, I don't agree with you. Lobola, do you see a future where women Lobola the guy?
Yeah, I see a lot of futures that are happening right now because things are changing
you support
very
it?
Fast. I support
See, you support it?
I
there might be a hun out there, boy,
fully
that's making gang cash who's been looking at you, but she's scared. She's like, see, I'll give you, boy, the 100K. You take it to the families and then we do the things. But that essentially means she's Lobola you.
I fully support anything that makes your relationship grow. Because there's so many things that
she must send her uncles to your home.
I look at if
uzohlala ecansini ezumjida le uzohlala ecansini kuthiwa socela umfana la ekhaya
gogiduku
yes
ufika
uzobalethela amakhekhe nelento
juice nomqombothi. Because I know, look at it, like there's so many things that I do within my relationship that society would say, no, this is stupid, this won't work.
Yeah, like painting your nails.
Like painting my nails.
It is stupid, it doesn't work.
It's working in my relationship. Well,
you're raised gay. Well, in your gay relationship, of course it works. So me is Mlongo.
Oh.
So me is Mlotshwa. Shut it down, man. Closing remark. We're out of time.
Closing remark, guys.
We're making this one short, man, so we can film again.
Yeah. Build your relationship. Build it on a foundation of honesty, foundation of trust. Do the best that you can. Invest as much as you can. Everything is a risk. Whether you're dating very slay queen or a fuck boy, whatever, that's a risk. Whether you're trying to build something authentic, business, relationship, it's a risk. All of it is a risk. So just try your best to jump in.
See, last words that I must emphasize here?
None.
Any shout out to any hands that I must be like, say, Siya Mangena on production. See ya.
I just want to say a hoe's final form is a religious woman.
Jeez, a hoe's final form is a religious child of the Most High. God's chosen one.
Oh my gosh.
A religious woman. When they've retired, they're there in the church, boy.
Penuelism.
Anyways, dope conversations. Pen and pen, we're out.
I've got hiccups.